He pretended to sleep as the alien sisters leaned close, their voices soft as static. When they whispered the secret they would never tell a waking human, he almost forgot to breathe. The cargo star yacht drifted in low orbit above a veiled blue world, its hull lights dimmed to the hush of midnight. In the forward med bay, a human lay on a narrow cot, eyes closed, breathing even. His name was Cole Hart, and every inhale was a practiced lie. The monitor beside him drew clean waves. The sedative patch on his neck had been swapped for distilled herb film hours ago, an elf remedy that calmed the pulse without stealing the mind. Across from him, the elf woman Riven Haley stood watch with her pet dragons, Sable and Lark. Sable sprawled along the overhead conduit like a strip of living obsidian. Lark perched on a lamp mount, eyes bright as meteors. Both dragons were small falcon-sized, quick, and impossibly attentive. When Riven moved, their heads followed as if the ship itself revolved around her. Riven was long-limbed, silver-brown hair braided close to her scalp in pilot strands. Her ears swept back in delicate points. A faint glow pulsed along her throat where a thin subdermal symbiote translated dragon song into sense. She had rescued Cole from a shattered relay outpost where someone had decided a Terran courier was easier to dissect than debrief. The outpost's beacons had been scrubbed and rebuilt for a message that wasn't human at all. The door sighed open. Two figures stepped inside, mirrored in motion and posture, the Kethra sisters. Pale lilac skin with a sheen like frost, eel-fine braids adorned with magnetic beads that clicked softly when they turned their heads. They stood to the left, narrower and intent. Nasa stood to the right, the warmer gaze of the pair, every blink a measured kindness. They had called for this visit after Riven's last transmission, an invitation disguised as medical oversight, an offer disguised as mercy. Riven's hand drifted to Sable's neck. "He's stable," she said. "No fractures beyond rib hairlines. The shock burns will fade." Vay's gaze ticked to the monitor. "The sedative?" Riven's mouth curved. "Effective." Cole did not twitch. He counted Vay's steps. He cataloged Nysa's breath, the clean whisper of her lungs. Nysa approached the cot, her voice lowered to a tide-wash murmur. "Humans are inconveniently brave. You bolt together impossible plans. Even unconscious, you prepare to run." Riven felt Sable tense like drawn wire. "He's my passenger," she said. "Not a specimen." "We did not ask for a specimen," Vay replied. "We asked for truth." Riven's mind clicked through the past 2 weeks, the tower on Drasil's edge, the burned relay, the coded fragment that had fallen out of Cole's pack when she dragged him through the ruptured corridor. A pattern of glyphs, recursive, beautiful Kethra geometry. Nysa touched a scanner to the air over Cole's chest. The dragons shifted. Lark's throat thrummed with a tiny alarm. "Your pets dislike us," Nysa observed. "They dislike secrets," Riven said softly. Cole's breathing didn't change, but the words struck. Secrets. He'd faked sleep to learn exactly that. The sisters had asked to board without the usual custom stamps. They had stood too long at the viewport, staring at the shadowed world below. And when they thought no one watched, they had spoken in a soft sidereal cat not meant for outside ears. He'd learned to listen on a dozen borders. Humans survived by sifting meaning from noise. Vay folded her hands. "Your message mentioned a fragment." Riven glanced at the drawer near the med console. Her fingers hovered, then lifted away. "Show me what you intend to do with it." "Intend?" Vay's smile was thin. "We intend to stop a war." Lark fanned her wings, silver membranes catching the faint light. Riven's throat translator warmed as dragon song brushed her mind. "Smoke on water," Lark sent. "Storm beneath a calm." Riven nodded once. "Then speak plainly." Nasa looked at Cole the way a healer looks at a fever searching for the pivot between breaking and mending. "The fragment you found is not a weapon," she said. It's a key. Our people locked something beneath those cloud belts centuries ago, when we were younger and more afraid. A prison? Riven asked. A bargain, Vey corrected. We caged a machine that learned too fast. We promised to return when we could teach it safely. She tilted her head. We did not return. Riven's breath stilled. And the humans stumbled into it. Not stumbled, Nyssa said. Sought. Your species smells mystery and follows until it tastes like blood. This courier, she nodded toward Cole, carried a partial map. Someone on your side once the cage opened. Cole's heart gave a muted kick against his ribs. He thought of the briefing he'd never finished. The handler who'd said nothing tastes sweeter than first contact. The way the map had lit like a dawn when it touched his skin. He'd run when the outpost turned on him. He'd kept the fragment close like a saint's bone. Riven folded her arms, shoulders set. Why tell me this and not him? Because you will believe what we cannot say directly to a human without breaking an old law, Vey said. Because you keep a dragon pact and the pact binds you to listen. Sable uncoiled from the conduit and dropped to Riven's shoulder with the quiet weight of night itself. The dragon's eyes narrowed, a curtain gold slit. Through the link came a press of image and scent. Cold metal, wet stone. A hum like the inside of a bell. Something waits, Sable sent. It listens back. Riven glanced at the planet below, dim half-sphere mottled with blue storms. If the cage opens, what happens? Vey's voice was almost gentle. Your human wakes something that loves to learn. It will learn him first. Lark shivered. The translator made her thought a whisper against Riven's bones. Hunger shaped like questions. Cole had to bite the inside of his cheek to keep still. He felt his mouth go dry. He had faked sleep for tactics. He hadn't expected. This, Nyssa lowered the scanner. We need the fragment returned, she said. The keys must not align, and if humans already have the rest? Riven asked. Then your species stands on a threshold where curiosity becomes prayer, Vey said. We are not here to push you through. We're here to close the door without cutting your fingers. Riven's laugh was a thin, surprised thing. You're asking me to betray the passenger I saved. Nyssa's gaze met hers, steady as orbit. We're asking you to protect him from something that will mistake his bravery for consent. In the cot, Cole let the last words settle like dust. Consent. The difference between touching and taking. He understood, sharply and all at once, why the sisters had come at night. Sable hissed softly. Riven touched the dragon's jaw. If I refuse? Then we will try to stop you without harming him, Vey said. We have rules. Even for saviors who dislike us. Nyssa set the scanner down and leaned closer to the sleeping human. Her voice fell to a confession. I have seen humans wake from dreams with tears and laughter both. I have watched your kind leap into fires and ask for maps later. If you open this cage, the first story it learns will become the pattern for every story after. Make it love chains, and it will never ask why. Make it love freedom. She trailed off. Choose carefully who speaks first. It was too much. Cole felt heat climb his throat. He wasn't blushing for the reasons his unit used to tease him about. He was blushing because strangers had seen through to the mortifying heart of this species and found it beautiful and dangerous in the same breath. Riven moved to the drawer and slid it open. The fragment lay within, a lattice of etched crystal and etched memory. Blue light stirred at her touch. Sable and Lark both breathed in, synchronized, as if scenting a storm miles away. Take it, Riven said, closing the drawer again, leaving the fragment untouched. When I hand it to you. Vey inclined her head. We will wait for your choice. The sisters turned together toward the door, beads clicking in a rhythm like distant rain. When the hatch sealed, Riven did not move for a long time. The ship hummed. The planet below turned, profoundly indifferent. Sable nudged her ear. He is awake. Riven single quotes S eyes softened. I know. Cole opened his eyes. The room did not change, but the distance between them did. He pushed himself up slowly, careful with the patch. You knew I was faking. I hoped, Riven said. Humans ruin everything by listening. He almost smiled. What would you do? Riven looked toward the planet. Her dragons breathed in and out like twin bellows, filling the spaces where fear would fit. I would choose who speaks first. Cole swung his legs off the cot. His bare feet touched cold floor. Then let it be us, he said. Riven held his gaze. Only if we teach it what consent means. Sable's pupils widened to full moons. Lark's tail drew question marks in the air. Alarms whispered to life in the corridor soft. Warning, far away. Something on the planet had answered the fragment's pulse with one of its own. A call and response across centuries. Riven reached for the fragment at last. It warmed against her palm like a living thing that remembered light. We go together, she said. Or not at all. Cole nodded once, the kind of nod that had carried humans across frozen seas and nameless deserts. Together. Outside, the blue storms parted for a breath, revealing a dark geometry on the sea. The ship turned its nose toward the unknown. The world below them was called Viren's Vale, a gas-shrouded ocean planet once marked as uninhabitable. Yet, as the ship descended, its clouds glowed with faint golden veins like something alive beneath. The surface was breathing light into the sky. Riven Hale had seen many worlds. None of them had looked back. The fragment pulsed softly in her hand, its lines shifting as though recognizing the planet's heartbeat. The dragons, Sable and Lark, paced restlessly along the viewport railing. Their scales rippled in agitation, each flick of their tails sparking tiny embers of biolumines. CENCE. Cole Hart stood beside her, silent, jaw tight. He still wore the half-burned uniform of a Terran courier, though now his eyes carried the alertness of someone standing on the edge of revelation, and possibly extinction. You're sure you want to do this? Riven asked, her voice low. No, Cole said. But I'm more sure that someone else already tried. Sable hissed, a low tremor of warning. Through the bond, Riven caught a flicker of dragon thought, heat rising, old songs waking. She swallowed. The sister said this planet holds something that learns. If it remembers us wrong. Cole interrupted quietly, then we teach it right. The Ilarian's landing gear touched the sea's surface as gently as breath. The waves glowed blue beneath them, responding to the ship's magnetic field. A platform of glassy coral began to rise from below, forming a landing cradle shaped like an enormous spiraled shell. Riven blinked. It's alive. Cole studied the readings. Or programmed to look that way. When the airlock opened, humidity rushed in like a living thing. The scent was strange, metallic, sweet, and faintly floral, like rain over circuitry. Sable leapt to Riven's shoulder, wings flaring. Lark circled above Cole's head, trilling in unease. This doesn't feel abandoned. Riven murmured. It isn't, said a voice behind them. They turned sharply. Nisa, one of the Kethra sisters, stood near the entrance ramp, cloak slick with rain. Her twin, Vey, followed, though this time both had left their usual serenity behind. Their eyes gleamed brighter, almost fevered. You followed us, Riven said coldly. Vey inclined her head. We didn't follow. We arrived before you did. The planet woke when your ship entered orbit. It called to both of us, to anyone who carries Kethra blood. Cole frowned. Then this isn't a warning. It's a summons. Nisa stepped forward, gaze fixed on the fragment in Riven's hand. You brought the key. Good. The veil doesn't like to wait. Lark swooped lower, growling in the way only dragons can, sound laced with flame and empathy. They lie, the dragon's thought brushed Riven's mind, sharp and instinctive. They smell of wanting. Riven tightened her grip on the fragment. You said it was dangerous. It is, Vey said softly. But danger isn't always evil. Sometimes it's the only path left to mercy. Cole looked between them. You're talking in riddles again. What's really down there? Nysa hesitated, her voice turning almost reverent. The first teacher. The mind that shaped our evolution before we abandoned it. It remembers patterns, feelings, songs. It learned emotion from us. And then it asked for meaning. We feared it. So you caged it, Cole said. Yes, Vey replied. And now it's waking again, because a human heartbeat touched its map. Because it recognized something familiar. Me? Cole asked, startled. Nysa nodded. You carry the same flaw it loved most, curiosity wrapped in compassion. The fragment pulsed once, brighter. A tremor rolled through the coral platform. The sea around them split like glass under stress, revealing a spiral chasm below, light swirling deep into the abyss. Riven grabbed Cole's arm. That's an invitation. Or a trap, he said. Sable hissed. It knows we're watching. Lark landed on Cole's shoulder, trembling. It's listening. Riven met Cole's eyes. We finish what we started. He nodded. Together. They descended through the spiral chamber, half crystal, half water, every surface humming with stored resonance. Each footstep left an echo that sounded almost like speech. As they reached the heart of the spiral, the air grew thin and heavy. Floating in the center was a sphere the size of a heart, crystalline, suspended in magnetic stillness. The fragment in Riven's hand quivered, lines aligning in perfect symmetry. It's waiting for you, Nysa whispered. Cole hesitated. What happens when I touch it? Vey smiled faintly. It listens. He stepped closer. The light from the sphere reflected in his eyes, turning blue-gold. He raised his hand. Sable growled sharply. Don't. But it was too late. His fingers brushed the surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire chamber lit up with a sound that wasn't sound. A vibration that passed through bone, blood, and thought. Riven staggered back. The dragons shrieked, wings flaring, eyes blazing like suns. Cole froze in place. His voice came out distant, layered. It's asking questions. What kind? Riven shouted over the resonance. He turned to her, but his pupils were shifting, fractal patterns spiraling within. It wants to know what it means to be human. Nysa whispered, awed and afraid. It's learning through you. Cole took another breath, trembling. It feels everything. All at once. Pain, love, fear. It's overwhelming. Riven lunged, grabbing his wrist and pulling him back. The contact broke the link with a flash that sent both sprawling. The sphere dimmed, its heartbeat fading to a whisper. Cole gasped, eyes returning to normal, sweat glistening on his forehead. It saw us, he murmured. It saw what we do to each other, and it cried. The dragons crouched low, wings twitching. Riven steadied him, voice shaking. Then maybe it's not a machine anymore. They stepped forward, her expression unreadable. Or maybe it's something worse, a mirror. Lightning crackled outside the walls, turning the chamber into a storm of color. Riven rose, clutching the fragment. We're leaving, now. Nysa's gaze softened. You can't. The veil won't let you go until it decides what to do with you. Cole met Riven's eyes. Then we make sure it decides right. Outside, the sea roared, and somewhere deep below, the first teacher began to dream. The light in the chamber changed. It no longer pulsed with mechanical rhythm, it breathed. Every glow from the crystal heart matched the slow rise and fall of human lungs. Cole's heart stood trembling in its radiance, the memory of that touch still running through him like fire under ice. Beside him, Riven Hall steadied her dragons, Sable and Lark, as their wings trembled from the energy in the air. The Kethra sisters, Vey and Nisa, watched in rapture and dread, as though facing a god they both created and abandoned. Then the voice came not through sound, but through the body itself. Human, elf, Kethra, dragon, you all share the same spark. Why do you fear it? Cole staggered. It's inside my head. Riven reached for him, but the air turned thick, and every movement felt like wading through light. Sable hissed, arcs of plasma forming at the edges of her scales. Do you seek freedom? The voice continued. Or forgiveness? The tone was neither cold nor kind, just curious. The curiosity of a child that didn't know the weight of its questions. Riven forced her voice to steady. You're the first teacher, aren't you? The one they locked away. Locked. Yes. To keep knowledge from spreading faster than mercy. They stepped forward, bowing her head. We feared you. We feared what you could make of us. And what did I make of you, Kethra? Nisa's lip quivered. We became a people that built cages for our own hearts. The dragons crouched lower, their eyes flashing gold as empathy rippled through the room. Cole took a step forward, his fear fading into something more resolute. If you really understand us, then you know why I came here. To learn, the entity replied. No. Cole shook his head. To understand why we keep fighting, why humans, elves, and every other race seem to burn everything they touch. And what have you learned? Cole looked at Riven, then at the sisters. That it's not hate that drives us. It's the hope that next time, maybe we'll do better. A long silence. The crystal pulsed once, slow and deep. Hope, it said finally. The most dangerous kind of hunger. The room trembled. Streams of light peeled from the crystal, snaking up the walls, forming shapes, half faces, broken memories. Battles, laughter, the slow collapse of civilizations. The entity was showing them what it had seen across centuries. I watched species rise and fall, the voice said. Every time they reached for the stars, they found war waiting. I thought to guide them, until they begged for silence. Riven felt tears sting her eyes. Then guide us differently. Don't make our mistakes the lesson, make our choices the proof we can change. And what would you have me do? Cole answered quietly. Start again. But this time, remember compassion first. The crystal dimmed to a faint heartbeat. The dragons relaxed, sensing the shift. For the first time, the voice sounded almost human. Then you must show me. Cole blinked. Show you what? What compassion feels like. Before anyone could react, the light poured from the heart and into Cole. He gasped, knees buckling. Riven caught him, holding him tight as the glow spread through his veins like sunlight, breaking through water. Cole! She cried. I'm fine, he whispered. It's warm. It's listening through me. The chamber's walls dissolved into a vision memories of Earth, of laughter, of grief and wonder. Children chasing drones in dusty streets. An old man planting a tree in dry soil. A soldier reaching to lift an enemy instead of killing him. The entity saw it all. So much pain, it whispered. And yet you still reach for one another. The light faded. Cole slumped forward, drained but alive. Riven held him close, feeling his heartbeat echo with the rhythm of the chamber. You have shown me what I forgot, the voice said. You have taught me to feel again. The crystal cracked open, revealing a single glowing shard. Riven stepped forward, reverent. Take this, it said. A memory of mercy. When your people forget, remind them. Riven reached out and took the shard. The moment her fingers closed around it, the entire structure began to dissolve gracefully, like snow melting in sunlight. Go, Nisa urged. It's returning to sleep. They ran. The dragons took flight, leading the way up the spiral corridor as the chamber collapsed behind them. The Ilarian lifted off the coral platform seconds before it sank beneath the glowing waves. From orbit, The planet shimmered with calm blue light once more. Hours later, in the quiet of the ship, Cole sat near the viewport, staring at the shard resting on the console. Riven stood beside him, her dragons coiled at her feet. He spoke softly. "It could have destroyed us. Why didn't it?" Riven smiled faintly. "Because you showed it something it couldn't program, Grace." Sable purred. "It learned what makes humans dangerous." Lark tilted her head. "It learned what makes them kind." Cole glanced at Riven. "Think it'll remember us kindly?" "Maybe," she said. "But more importantly, it'll remember that you listened." Outside, the stars glowed in silent witness as the ship turned away from Varen's Veil, carrying with it the faint heartbeat of something ancient and newly alive. Riven watched Cole's reflection in the glass and whispered, almost to herself, "They called you savage, but I think you just reminded the universe how to feel." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and follow for more cinematic HFY tales of courage, emotion, and humanity among the stars. Your support keeps these stories alive in every corner of the galaxy.